Welcome to the Bible, the Basketball, and the Briefcase podcast. I'm your host, Jay Martin. I'm so happy that you tuned in today, and I'm very excited to have my guest with me today, John McGowan. John, thank you for being here.
I appreciate you having me.
I've been wanting for some time to have a baseball segment, and John is here today because John has probably forgotten more about baseball than I know. Baseball, I love to go to the games live. I don't really enjoy watching them on television. And then I just don't keep up with baseball that much, so I don't have as much information maybe as I do about other sports. But John has a lot of information, and we're going to talk with him too about his career. John was a high school baseball player in Bethesda, Maryland, I believe, at Walt Whitman High School, and was recruited to become a college baseball player. He's been at some colleges. I met him when he was in his career at Trinity University. And I met you because you're dating my daughter, Hallie.
I was wondering when you were going to mention that.
You're a special guy for that reason, for sure. But I've also enjoyed watching you. Unfortunately, we've not watched you live, but we've watched you pitch on live stream that they have for the college. So that's been fun. And you're a pitcher. I think it lists you as a relief pitcher for Trinity University. And you have kind of a unique pitch too. I think it's very very deceptive. So they bring you in quite often to get a strikeout. But I think that, like so many college baseball players, especially in the age of the transfer portal and all that, John has had an interesting ride in his baseball career. He's an excellent baseball player. He graduated from Trinity, but he may not be done playing baseball. So we're excited about that too. I don't know how much of that he can talk about, but I'm going to continue to be one of his biggest fans, and just so honored to have you here today with me, John.
Oh, I appreciate you having me.
And we also, that's baseball. John's also a follower of Christ, and he has done a lot of great work. He went home to Maryland over the summer, I think maybe last summer, and did some work among the homeless there. And then he came back to San Antonio, where he started working with Young Life and mentoring young men, particularly at-risk young men. So he really has a heart for people, and just a really all-around great young man. So he's also going to share with us just a devotional today. So John, thank you so much that I don't have to do the sharing today.
Yeah, let me look at it right now. So I picked two verses, both are from Ecclesiastes. One is Ecclesiastes 9:7 says, "Go eat your food with your gladness, and drink your wine with a joyful heart, for God has already approved what you do." And the second one is 5:18 through 19. "This is what I have observed to be good, that it is appropriate for a person to eat, to drink, and to find satisfaction in their toil. This is a gift from God, or of God." I picked those verses kind of when I was with you last night. We were talking about people we knew that were suffering from life-threatening illnesses, brain tumors and whatnot. And it kind of made me think about how much pressure we put on ourselves to accomplish certain things, or to have a certain life path. And I guess those verses made me realize how do I put it, how unnecessary it is, and how God doesn't want us to be stressing out about all of these things. And that obviously he wants us to work really hard and do great things, but none of that is coming with us.
It's good.
And there's no need to put the stress on ourselves.
I love it.
I mean, like you said, I've played college baseball, and myself and a ton of other people put so much pressure to perform and to go to the right school and compete at the highest level we can. But I wouldn't say I don't think God cares about that, but it's, how do I put it? It's just not something that we should worry about.
That's great, John. That's true. If we could only get what you're talking about in our lives and in our hearts, I think it would be such a blessing. I know particularly your generation's been called the generation of anxiety, and I think a key is exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. Just finding your worth and your place in the Lord, and then letting everything else take care of itself.
100%.
Well, thank you so much. And you're welcome to pray for us too. We usually pray at the end, or I'll pray, or whatever you'd like.
I can pray right now.
Okay, thanks.
Lord, I want to thank you for bringing me and Mr. Martin here today, and I just want to thank you for allowing me to talk about my faith and talk about my baseball experience. And I pray that you can allow me to reach people and allow me to inspire anybody, and hopefully bring someone who's watching this closer to Jesus. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, John, and please call me Jay.
Okay.
I don't know if I think I've told you that at some point, but yeah, just call me Jay. Well, I want to go back to little boy John McGowan, and I want to talk about where your love of baseball came from and what you started dreaming about being a baseball player and what you wanted to do, how all that started.
Yeah, so my parents took me to do the whole T-ball thing when I was a little kid, and there's actually a video my mom has on I guess the CD is was that what you guys used at the time? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's me hitting the ball off the tee, and instead of running to first base, I run and I pick up the ball and I throw it to first base. I was not a fan of baseball at all. I wanted to do football. I wanted to be a quarterback and all that. And for some reason, one day I just decided I liked baseball, just one of those random spontaneous things. It turns out my parents were never going to let me play football.
Okay.
Because of all the head injuries and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I ended up being really good, pretty athletic growing up, not athletic anymore at all. Played through the travel ball circuit from the second that I was allowed to when I was 9 until I graduated high school. I wouldn't say I was forced into pitching because I enjoyed hitting and I was all right at it, but I knew that my talent was on the mound.
Okay.
And I enjoyed having all the pressure on me. You know, when you're at center field or shortstop and whatnot, obviously you need to perform when the ball's hit to you, but the ball's not in your hand every single play.
Right.
So yeah, and then I went through high school. I was a pretty heavily recruited kid out of high school. I wasn't getting any sort of Power 5 SEC offers, but I had some pretty big schools that are interested in me. And then COVID hit, and that was a dead time. I don't know if it was whatever the phrase is, where the period they're not allowed to talk to players. I think something like that happened. And so everything went quiet, and then it started to pick back up the fall of my junior year. And I wasn't even actually throwing that well. That was kind of when things started to spiral because I couldn't throw with anybody. I couldn't really work out the way I wanted to, and I didn't have any coaches on me. So I came out after COVID, and I was not throwing strikes and whatnot, but I was throwing pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then the University of Connecticut ended up offering me, and the way recruiting goes, it's, well, I don't know what else is going to come up next.
Right.
This is a solid option, so I took it. Had a rough junior year for someone that should be going to a Big East school. I had a lot of strikeouts. I also set the Montgomery County, the Maryland state record for hit by pitches per 9.
Okay.
I did.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately. So that's my mark on high school baseball.
Great.
So I was super in my head. I was trying to figure everything out. How am I gonna? I've got like a huge mountain to climb. You know, I couldn't even pitch much for my high school. How am I supposed to pitch at a Division I school? And it continued to spiral to where I actually was completely healthy for my senior year, and I had 1 inning.
Oh, wow.
Maybe you can put it in the video. There's a video of me pitching my senior year, and I throw the ball up the baseline because I completely had the yips. If anybody's familiar with that, the yips.
Yips.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just super in my head, super self-conscious about what other people would be thinking about me and what I needed to do, and just not focused on playing for the game and playing for my teammates and just the enjoyment of it.
Well, let me ask you about that because, you know, I've watched a lot of baseball growing up, and I think pitcher is probably one of the hardest positions. I've seen the best pitchers choke sometimes, and, you know, when it really gets in a difficult situation, and quite often the coaches come out and remove even the best pitchers eventually because I know their arm gets tired or they get in their head or something. But I've always really seen the pitcher as kind of the quarterback of the baseball team. And so when did you start pitching? How old were you?
I would have been about 9. I think the first 2 years of I would have been about 7.
Okay.
I think I started playing when I was 5. Those first couple years, it's the dad with the machine, or he underhands it, and then they start letting you pitch.
Yeah.
And I was just so excited because I was like, I get to have
Yeah.
complete control over what happens, which obviously you get older and you realize that's not true at all. You don't have control over a lot of things. But.
Well, I think it's so interesting to be thrust into leadership like that, and I'm just curious at that young age, how did you deal with, being a pitcher, being a leader, being the kind of the visible person out there on the mound that everybody's looking at, knowing that you have a really direct opportunity to help your team, or you might get blamed if something goes bad. How did you deal with that?
It's interesting. This is something I think about a lot, especially when I was going through my struggles in college, is when you're that age, it never crossed my mind.
Wow.
It's just, you're just so focused on the opportunity that you have and what you're capable of doing in a positive light.
Yeah.
I was never thinking, what happens if I lose this game? As a pitcher, there's all sorts of possibilities. While as a hitter, the worst thing you can do is swing and miss at 3 pitches and make yourself look silly.
Yeah.
And everyone forgets about it because some other hitter's going to come up and make themselves look bad too.
Right.
The worst thing as a pitcher is essentially what happened to me is you can't throw a ball, and they're throwing balls to the backstop, throwing balls straight into the ground, hitting kids.
Right.
And people usually, it takes more time to forget about that.
Now, I think I mentioned earlier, you're not kind of the traditional fastball pitcher. You sort of have different maneuvers that you pitch. Is that right? I mean, you don't care like how many miles per hour you throw the ball.
Yeah, so I'm a sidearm or submarine pitcher. I mean, I would say I care, at least for me, how hard I throw the ball. My coaches are always saying we don't care.
Okay.
Because I used to ask him, I'd be like, "Are you sure you don't want me to try and throw harder?" And he's like, I couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Which is great because I don't have that pressure on me.
Sure.
But I guess it also means there's low expectations for that. Okay. So yeah.
Well, let me ask you, how did you get out of your head, and you also called it another term, but how did you move on from having kind of a rough senior year in high school and then go on to becoming a college baseball player?
Yeah, so I would say halfway through my senior year, it was obvious that I wasn't going to be able to contribute to the team. I mean, I was so far away from being competitive. And me and my high school coach talked, and it wasn't any sort of intervention. We were really close. I actually had a class with him, and we were essentially like, I'm not going to forego my commitment to UConn and go to a junior college or whatnot. I was like, I've made this commitment. And also, even if you get cut from a school like that, that's helpful, as I've seen.
Yeah.
So we were like, I'm going to go to UConn. How are we going to prepare me for that? Because there's nothing I can do in these next 3 to 6 weeks that are going to prepare me for the high school baseball season.
Right.
I've already, it's lost for me.
Right.
And so I just kind of retaught myself how to throw. Okay. I went and I threw bullpens, but I would throw, instead of maybe a normal bullpen of 25 pitches, I would throw 200, and I would throw it super, super light, just trying to regain this feel that I'd lost. Okay. And then, do you want me to continue on how I continue to get over it? Or
I'd love to find that out. I guess there's also some muscle memory. Is that what you're trying to recapture when you're doing that?
Yeah, because I guess it all started, it was all a thing in my head, but at some point, when you throw bad enough for long enough, that actually becomes your skill.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so even if I was out of my head, it was like, okay, well, my actual skill has deteriorated, being able to throw the ball where I want. Right. And so I had to build that up to a point where I would be able to just let myself be free and just play the game.
Okay. I got you. Yeah. You were going to talk about, and I think I may have redirected you, but I'd love to hear what else you had to say about that time and so forth.
Yeah, so I got to UConn. It was a tough time for sure. My first bullpen, I threw a pitch and they had the velocity or the radar gun, and I really couldn't cut anything loose without worrying about it going wherever. Yeah. So I was throwing it really slow, and he was essentially like, if you throw another pitch like that, you're cut. Oh. And so I had to step it up, and I did. But essentially, I had a couple of outings in the fall, and they pulled me aside and they said, "Hey, if this continues to happen, we're going to have to let you go and allow you to see other opportunities." And I had one more opportunity. It didn't go the way I wanted, and I got cut the next day. They actually made me go to the 6 a.m. lifts and then cut me after that, which was brutal. Don't know why that was necessary.
That's not it's kind of like insult to injury,
Yeah.
injury to insult.
So I was still not in a condition to play on a team. I was more competitive, but if for anyone that knows baseball, is walking 3 to 5 guys an inning. No one was getting better facing me, which was their point, which is understandable.
Yeah.
So I went to Charlotte, North Carolina, and I trained for the rest of my freshman year while taking classes online just to stay on track. Continued to get better. Went to a junior college out in the Bay Area outside of San Francisco called College of Marin. And I had a great time there. I made tons of friends that I still keep in touch with and actually saw last week.
Yeah.
Still wasn't really cutting it. I had 10 appearances, but my stats weren't great. And then I ended up committing to Trinity. They take a lot of kids. So initially I was one of those kids that they kind of just took a chance on, and there's no roster limits. So I was on the team. I pitched very little, but I would say out of 40 pitchers on the team, I was in the top half, which was good. And then this past year, I kind of broke through and was a key role down the stretch.
I'll ask you a question about being a student athlete at Trinity. Whenever, of course, Hallie started at volleyball there and ended up running track, but we didn't realize what I call smart people school Trinity was. And just kind of the balance of being a student. I know you just graduated, a couple of weeks ago maybe, with a degree in a place close to my heart, political science. So just maybe the talk about being a student athlete at any of the schools. I know UConn's it's one of the smart people schools too, I believe. But and just maybe the college that you were at in California, just how it is to be a kind of a student athlete in the college area.
I mean, it's tough. I would say the biggest thing is, in I guess this sort of modern technology era, is you're always doing everything on your computer.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, and Hallie will tell you this too, I am so focused on my sleep and not being on my phone and before bed and whatnot. But it's really hard because you get out of practice at 8:00. Yeah. Cool, I have something to do at 12.
Right.
I have to be on my computer, and so it kind of can start to snowball and whatnot.
Yeah.
I'll just go through the 3 schools real quick. UConn, obviously a bigger school. They gave me really easy classes. Okay. Perfect schedule. I had a class on witches and wizards. If that gives you any idea.
Okay.
College
Harry Potter thing there?
Yeah, vampires and spells, and there were like 300 people in it. I would say 150 of them were athletes.
Okay.
And then College of Marin, my junior college, it was pretty easy, pretty small classes. So the teachers are always watching, seeing what you're doing, which is great, but it's also sometimes you just want to sit back and relax. And I have friends that went to Berkeley, one of my best friends from high school, so he was right across the bay, and he didn't go to any of his classes because there were so many people in it, and he got to work outside of it, do internships, do other classwork, study. And for me, it's I got class from 9 to 3, and then I go to practice, and I have to be focused the whole time.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's great. So wrapping up at Trinity, and then just kind of thinking about the future. I know you have maybe a couple of different paths you're considering right now, and one involves, and I never really asked you, I mean, was your dream to play Major League Baseball, or you just wanted to see how far you could get?
Honestly,
baseball? Just
to see how far I could get. I mean, I'm one of those people that I don't really want to do one thing for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I think that would be cool, but I was never the 15-year-old kid that was like, I want to go play Division I baseball and get drafted and continue going. I was just like, I enjoy baseball and I want to play in college at the highest level, but once it becomes a choice and not just something I can do while I'm going to school, then I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to continue.
Okay. Well, I know one track that you could go on for your future would involve some more playing of baseball. And then another, you can talk about that if you want to, but I know John wants to be a police officer, and I believe he's applied in Austin, Texas, to be a police officer there.
I have. So I've applied to San Jose, San Francisco. Those are more so safety spots. I don't really want to be out in California, especially in law enforcement.
Yeah.
And then I applied to Austin, Dallas, Houston, and Washington, D.C., which is where I'm from.
I've heard that the Arkansas State Police are hiring too.
You have told me that. Yeah, I think I get a text. I've gotten 2 or 3 texts from him essentially saying, Pulaski County's hiring. You should really think about it.
Just Arkansas is such a great place.
It is. It's really pretty.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, me and Hallie went out to dinner with my roommate from Trinity, and he was saying how he loves it here.
Yeah.
He was just, it's such a great spot to settle down and have a family.
Absolutely. Well, and then I know that another, as we said, and I know you're probably not at liberty to talk much about the baseball track, but there would be a set of circumstances where you might continue playing baseball, continue being a pitcher.
Yeah, it just kind of depends. Again, once you have the choice of not playing, it becomes, well, I don't have to just take anything that comes my way.
Yeah.
I'm getting some interest from some schools that I would be happy to play at, but they're not in the location I would want and whatnot. So we'll see. I'm not too concerned.
Okay. Well, good. Yeah, it seems to me you've been more in the warmer climates, and these may be in the colder climates like you started with UConn.
Yeah, that, or just kind of in the middle of nowhere, which a lot of these schools are 20,000, 30,000 people. But you get a school like that in the middle of nowhere, and what do you do all day?
Yeah, right.
You know,
yeah, sure.
Nothing good.
Yeah, right. Well, I think you have had such a journey as a baseball player and just as a young man, and graduating from Trinity, getting your degree, and now considering what's next. I really would be curious if you would have advice. Let's just say that a 7-year-old boy was standing in front of you and you were going to give him some advice. He wants to be a baseball pitcher and you got some advice you could give him. What would you tell him?
I would say none of your accomplishments, no matter how big or small, matter if you don't actually enjoy the little things and just everything about the game. And if you don't enjoy the process of that, for me, for so long, I was always so focused on getting on the field and getting to the next level and improving this or proving to my coaches that I'm good enough. And those are all things that I'm not saying are bad things to focus on. I'm still focusing on them, obviously, but they're going to be there whether you enjoy it or not. So you might as well enjoy it, because focusing on it and stressing about it isn't going to make you better.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I don't know if you did this when you were 7, but it seems like now all of our kids' sports are all year round. We used to have seasons. It would be football season, basketball season, track season, baseball season. But now it seems like you do it all year round. And so did you do that when you were younger? Was baseball like all year then too?
When I was really young, no. It was a few games in the spring and a few games in the fall. I would say once I got to 9 or 10 years old, you had an off season, and looking back, I totally should have done other sports.
Okay.
But no one really talked to me about that, and it was always, well, I have to keep getting better at baseball if I want to play in college, you know. But looking back, I see all the kids that have had a ton of success, and a lot of them are multi-sport athletes. A lot of the kids at Trinity and a lot of the kids at UConn actually had football or basketball offers at that school too.
Oh, wow.
And they chose to only play baseball, but it just goes to show what the athleticism or maybe football, what the strength and conditioning aspect can do for you.
Yeah. Well, so, and that was like for a kid, but I'm also wondering, like maybe a freshman, sophomore in high school who's a pitcher who would like to play college ball. What advice would you give them? What are some lessons you learned that might be beneficial?
Especially with the way college sports is now with the transfer portal, you're not tied down to a school. And I made this mistake all the time until this past year, is stop trying to go from your certain skill set to the best version that you could possibly be in your entire career. Like for me, I tried to go from being a sophomore in high school and being a serviceable pitcher to being a senior in college that was supposed to be I thought I could be the best pitcher on my college team. And it doesn't work like that. You have to just go step by step and I know the phrase is corny, but just improve 1% every day. You can't make that jump.
Yeah, That's good. That's good. Well, my family has never, my daughters have played lots of sports. Softball was never one of them. And we didn't, I guess we would occasionally go to a Travelers game. But now my family loves baseball. As you know, last night we were watching baseball,
We were.
watching Georgia and Texas playing. And Hallie really loves baseball.
She does.
And she's now working, doing an internship for the Arkansas Travelers here just across the river. And so we've come to love baseball a lot more, and I know you watch a lot of baseball. And so, but I wanted to think about back to Hallie when she was a little girl. There was the movie The Rookie. It was a Disney movie. Have you seen that movie or heard of that movie?
You have mentioned it to me. I think I've seen it. I think I said I've seen it. I can't remember.
Okay, you need to watch it if you haven't. But we watched that movie. You know how kids get stuck on a movie.
Oh my gosh.
We've probably watched that movie 50 times. And so I don't know, maybe that's where Hallie started loving baseball or just having a soft spot in her heart for it. So, or maybe it's just finding a pitcher that she's dating too. That probably doesn't hurt anything either. But I thought I kind of want to shift gears and talk a little bit about baseball. I know we're in the College World Series right now. I know the Major League is playing. We're in the heat of the summer, moving towards October for their for the World Series and all of that. But I was talking last night. I was talking with you about the college baseball world. It's a little sad for Arkansas fans because we're used to being the Omahogs and being at the College World Series. It didn't happen this year, but we're very proud of our college baseball team. And this year, my alma mater too, the Little Rock Trojans, had a really good season, very strong coaching, and then just lost to Troy, who also has done very well, had a very good season. And so we're very excited about college baseball here in the state of Arkansas. And then also, I know Georgia, kind of one connection to Arkansas. The coach of Georgia had coached at Sylvan Hills High School, and so is very well known here in Central Arkansas as well. So kind of hard to cheer for Georgia, but it's very easy to cheer for an Arkansan. So it's kind of exciting to see. Of course, last night Georgia beat Texas in kind of I guess a game that was pretty heavy on defense. I guess you would say a 2-0 game. But what were your thoughts about the game last night? And I honestly have to tell you, with Arkansas not in it, I'm not even sure who's still in the College World Series. But why don't you tell us a little bit about the College World Series, what you think might happen, and so forth?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the game with Texas and Georgia was great. I think the Texas pitcher had a no-hitter going into the 5th inning.
Wow.
And then they eventually brought in their freshman closer that looks like he's 45.
Okay. Is he one of the COVID guys that's been in college for about 8 years?
No, he's a freshman.
Is he really?
He's a freshman.
Oh, wow. He just may have had eligibility and came back or something.
Yeah, no.
Wow.
I've actually seen that kid on social media a ton growing up. He was always the 16-year-old throwing 95.
Oh, my goodness.
I think his dad coached college baseball. His brothers played at NC State and UNC, so he's definitely got that in his genes.
Yeah.
He threw great, but it was unfortunate that Georgia's already taken the lead and Texas couldn't score.
Yeah.
Who's left? I think it's UNC and West Virginia.
Okay.
And UNC has to win one of the next 2 games to advance, while West Virginia has to win both.
Okay.
The other side, it's Oklahoma and Georgia. I think Georgia's still the team to beat. Oklahoma, even though they're an SEC school, they were one of the middle of the pack SEC teams that kind of went on a run. Yeah. They had a tough stretch for a bit. I know their ace was hurt.
Yeah.
I think Georgia's going to come out on top.
Okay.
I have actually some friends that played Georgia this year. I have a friend that goes to Queens University in Charlotte.
Okay.
And he said that he's never seen men that big hit balls that far.
Oh my goodness. Kind of like almost a major league team maybe.
Yeah.
Apparently with really good coaching too. I think one thing, at least, if Arkansas is not going to be in there, or my alma mater, the Little Rock Trojans, I think it's kind of exciting. I don't think any of these teams have been in the College World Series a lot. I may be wrong, but it doesn't seem to me that I've heard. I'm surprised by that too, because they all have great athletic programs. But but I don't recall them being in the College World Series very much if they have. But
I saw a graphic on Instagram the other day, and it had the past 3 years and all the teams that made the College World Series. And the only team that's been in it twice in the past 3 years is UNC.
okay, yeah, and I thought North Carolina might be the exception to that. But well, that's college baseball. Now, why don't we turn for just a moment to Major League Baseball? I know you're a Washington fan. Is that right?
Yes.
I thought you might be a Baltimore Orioles fan coming from Maryland, but
No.
well, how's Washington doing?
I think they're over 500 for the first time in a while. I
Okay.
want to say they're second or third place in the NL East. Their shortstop is probably the best shortstop in the National League right now. I went to a game a couple weeks ago, but honestly, with all the baseball in my life, I don't really watch anything except for the College World Series.
Okay, yeah. Well, we had talked about maybe me coming out and going to the Washington game.
That would be fun.
And I'd enjoy doing that with you. I know everyone, there's a lot of fans here of St. Louis,
Yeah.
the Cardinals. And so I haven't really kept up to see. Unfortunately, I really don't keep up with Major League Baseball that much until they start the pennant race, sort of the playoffs or whatever. But anyway, so who do you think is sort of the top 2 or 3 teams this year?
I'm not too sure. I'm going to say probably the Dodgers. I think that's a safe bet. I know the Yankees are up there, especially with Garrett Cole being back. And then I know the Padres are doing pretty solid.
Okay. All right.
I think the Dodgers are going to win it again.
Okay. Yeah, that was quite a run they had last year. And so I think it's hard for me when I don't follow a particular team to sort of jump on the bandwagon. So it was kind of hard for me not to cheer for the Dodgers last year because they had such a great run there.
100%.
But well, John, thank you so much for visiting about your life and giving some advice to folks who may be watching. Probably most importantly, I think just sharing that great devotion and just reminding us what's most important. I think sometimes that gets lost as we try to accomplish our dreams and goals, that we're enough. And pleasing God is probably more important than anything else. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being here today. And I know our audience has enjoyed this today. And so we're going to hopefully do some more baseball, but we've done a lot of Bible and a lot of Briefcase, a lot of law, but we have not done any very much sports lately. So thank you for letting us do that. I will say one thing about the law. It's very interesting. You've heard of baseball arbitration. Have you heard of that?
I have. So
I was one time in a case, I was involved in baseball arbitration where basically you give 2 numbers. And so I think I represented the plaintiff, so I had a pretty high number. So the defense comes in with a pretty low number. But the secret is you don't want your high number to be too high, and they don't want their low number to be too low, because the arbitrator is going to say, okay, I think you're being unreasonable, so I'm going to pick this one. So it really forces both sides to try to be reasonable and try to present a rational reason to give the number that you do. So anyway, just a little Briefcase, just a little law there on the side. So, but thank you again, John, for being here today. Honored to have you. And guys, thank you so much for being part of this. And I hope you're enjoying the summer. Watch a baseball game. Watch the College World Series. Don't cry too much because the Razorbacks or the Trojans aren't there. Maybe watch or go to a Major League Baseball. Don't forget the Arkansas Travelers. We've got some incredible baseball right here in Central Arkansas. I know Hallie would encourage you to go watch the Travelers as well. So thank you so much. I hope you have a great day.